Gemini, welcome to your mini weekly horoscope for May 11th to the 17th, 2026. My name's Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. Gemini, this week feels deeply transitional for you. There's a sense that something is ending internally while something entirely new is beginning to emerge. But before you step into this next chapter, the universe is asking you to slow down, reflect, and become honest about what has been happening beneath the surface of your life. A lot of the energy this week is happening behind the scenes for you in your 12th house of endings, healing, subconscious patterns, and spiritual closure. This is not necessarily a loud or externally dramatic week, but internally it can feel incredibly significant. On May 14th, Mercury reaches a Cazimi with the Sun in Taurus in your 12th house. Mercury is your ruling planet, so whenever Mercury experiences a major transit, you feel it personally and mentally. This creates a moment of profound clarity around something you may not have fully understood before. What's interesting about the 12th house energy is that realizations often come quietly. This may not look like a huge external event. Instead, it could feel like an emotional understanding, a private realization, or suddenly seeing a pattern that has been operating beneath your awareness. Because Mercury rules both your first and your fourth houses, this clarity is deeply connected to your identity, your emotional foundation, your home life, and your inner sense of security. Something connected to your family, your past, or your emotional conditioning may suddenly make more sense now. You may find yourself realizing how much mental energy you've been carrying. You may realize unhealthy coping mechanisms, patterns of avoidance, or emotional exhaustion that you've pushed aside because you were too busy focusing on everything else. What this can look like is needing more rest, pulling back socially, revisiting old memories, or processing emotions you haven't fully acknowledged. On a deeper level, this is really about emotional closure. If this energy is handled unconsciously, though, you may isolate too much, spiral mentally, or become overwhelmed by anxiety or overthinking. But when you work with this energy consciously, this is a beautiful opportunity for healing and release. You are becoming aware of what can no longer move forward with you into the next chapter. Then on May 16th, we have the new moon in Taurus, also occurring in your 12th house, deepening this process of emotional reset and spiritual renewal. This is not the kind of new moon that immediately produces visible results externally. Instead, this is where seeds are planted internally first. You're beginning a new emotional cycle. And a part of that means releasing old fears, old grief, old expectations, and old versions of yourself that are quietly dissolving. What this can look like internally is emotional sensitivity, fatigue, vivid dreams, heightened intuition, or a desire for solitude and reflection. You may feel more emotionally vulnerable than usual, but this vulnerability is serving a purpose. Because the 12th house is connected to endings, this week may reveal what needs to be surrendered, so something healthier can eventually emerge. Now, at the same time, Mars is going to form a conjunction in Chiron, which is happening in your 11th house in Aries, bringing activation to friendships, social circles, future goals, and your sense of belonging. Because Mars rules your 6th and 11th houses, this transit is connecting your daily responsibilities, work stress, and physical energy with your friendships, communities, and long term vision for your life. This can bring tension or emotional sensitivity within friendships or group dynamics. You may feel frustrated with people who don't seem aligned with where you're heading anymore. You may also become aware of how burnout or overcommitment has affected your ability to pursue your future goals. This can look like distancing yourself from certain groups, reevaluating friendships, or confronting feelings of rejection or loneliness that you may normally avoid. If this energy is handled unconsciously, you may react defensively, feel disconnected from others, or become discouraged about your future direction. But when you work with this energy consciously, this becomes a powerful opportunity to heal your relationship with community and support. This energy is asking you to stop forcing yourself to fit into spaces that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Then we get to May 17th and everything begins to shift very quickly. Mercury leaves Taurus and enters Gemini, your first house, and immediately forms a conjunction to Uranus. This is a major energetic shift for you personally. After such an internal and reflective week, suddenly your mind speeds up, your energy returns, and something awakens within you. This could feel like a breakthrough moment mentally and emotionally. What this can look like is sudden news, unexpected conversations, a new idea, or a desire to make changes quickly, or even changing your perspective about yourself entirely. You may feel inspired to speak up, take action, or move in a completely different direction. Because Mercury rules your identity and your emotional foundation, this shift feels deeply personal. You're thinking differently now, you're seeing yourself differently. Uranus brings unpredictability, so this energy can feel exciting but also mentally overstimulating. Your nervous system may feel highly activated. You may jump between ideas quickly or feel impatient with limitations. If this energy is handled unconsciously, it can lead to impulsive choices, nervous exhaustion, or reacting too quickly before grounding yourself emotionally. But when this energy is handled consciously, this is innovation. This is liberation. This is you stepping into a new mindset that allows greater freedom and authenticity. As you move through the week, there's a very clear story unfolding. The beginning of the week asks you to slow down and listen to yourself honestly. The middle of the week asks you to release emotional weight you've been carrying quietly. And the end of the week brings awakening, movement, and a completely new mental perspective. This is a bridge week between endings and beginnings. You are shedding an old version of yourself internally before fully stepping into the next chapter externally. And while that process can feel emotional at times, it's deeply necessary. By the end of the week, you may realize that the clarity you were searching for didn't come from pushing harder. It came from finally giving yourself space to hear your own truth.